Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 3 of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams, here to bring you a little bit of news, a little bit of rumors, and a little bit of highlights of the week of professional wrestling, covering Raw, Smackdown, TNA, and even a little bit of NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. First off on Raw, the new guy that debuted to help CM Punk in the Nexus. Who is this guy? We don't know yet. We'll find out in time, but to me, he looks like Batista's little brother minus the tattoos. Elsewhere on Raw, we announced that virtually half the rosters in the Royal Rumble. We went into that a little bit last week, talking about the 40-man Royal Rumble match. What the hell? I still think it's going to be a clusterfuck disaster, but time will tell whether I'm right or wrong on this one. Over on Smackdown, Nexus Blue or Nexus B, Nexus Wolfpack, whatever it was we wanted to call them prior, we now know that their name is The Core. Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, and Big Zeke are now known as The Core. What will The Core's mission be? Who is going to be The Core's main target? Time will tell. Looks like right now Teddy Long was their target, but we haven't found that out yet. We don't know if that was actually them. Maybe it was an outsider. Maybe they've got a new member lying in wait, just like this new guy that joined the Nexus over on Raw. Teddy Hart. What's going to happen with Teddy Hart now? Is Vicky Guerrero going to assume control again? Are we going to be subjected to a month of, "Excuse me"? I pray to God not. I pray to God not. I love Vicky Guerrero as a person, as a performer. She's horrendous. Dolph Ziggler going to be going up against Edge at the pay-per-view with this new power possibly being put into Vicky's hands with Teddy being out. What's that going to hold in store for Edge and Dolph? Over in TNA, things got really hot and heated with Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle and Karen Angle, Jarrett, whatever. Their whole personal story was going to come bubbling to a head, but then Kurt gets escorted out of the arena. We don't really get too much into detail of the whole backstory there, did we? Kurt gets escorted out of the arena cooperatively. He cooperatively leaves, but he gets taken out only to be let back in. Who let him back in? They are coming for Immortal. They are coming for Fortune. I thought they was Immortal. Who is this new they that's coming for them on February 3rd? A lot of people are speculating that it's the Main Event Mafia and that it could be Samoa Joe that led Kurt Angle back into the building, since Joe's the only person on the active TNA roster right now who was a member of the Mafia. Booker's not there, Steiner's not there, Steen isn't there yet. They could just be kicking it at home, smoking on some stogies and collecting a fat paycheck for all we know, but they have not been seen on TV for quite a few months. NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood featured a colossal women's match featuring Buggy and my Dad's on Wrestling co-host's favorite diva, Lucky O'Shea. Watching that match made me wonder why WWE and TNA can't do these type of things with their women wrestlers. Those of you that can't get KDOC locally, go to NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Look it up in Google. Find the link for it. You can watch the episodes online. I highly suggest that you guys start getting caught up on this show, because in time I think it could start to compete with WWE, TNA, and ROH. Sid Vicious. Apparently this week he got pulled over and busted for marijuana possession and not wearing a seatbelt. That's actually what stopped the cop, was that he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Sid, what the hell, man? What the hell? You think that you're so big and ripped and roided up that you don't need to wear a seatbelt? Your seatbelt doesn't fit you? Ever since he jumped off the top rope thinking that he was Rey Mysterio and broke his freaking leg, you know, you'd think that would humble a guy, prove that he's not invincible. But again, apparently not. We'll see in time what the results of these repercussions are. I also received my first email this week, a question from Jennifer Delgado. Wanted to know, out of WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA, which one I thought was the best. And honestly, if I had to just pick one, because there's lots of pros and cons about all those organizations, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd have to go with the original ECW, and I'll tell you why. The original ECW was essentially the little engine that could. There was a little promotion in the bingo hall in Philadelphia that nobody thought was going to catch on, that nobody thought was going to go anywhere, and it turned into a phenomenon. It went from word of mouth to a TV deal, to pay-per-views, to DVDs and VHSs, to being able to tour the United States and go from city to city, playing their craft, if you will, for the fans all around the world that had been supporting this up-and-coming promotion. ECW combined the best in hardcore wrestling and technical wrestling and cruiserweight action. That is what the original ECW was all about. It wasn't all about thumbtacks and barbed wire and staple guns. Stuff was cool, don't get me wrong. That's not what it was all about. It was about the best, period. You had guys like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, having 2 out of 3 falls matches that ended in a draw, and the crowd still gave them standing ovations. You had matches like RVD versus Jerry Lynn. Pick one of their matches, it doesn't even matter. That were so high-flying, so back and forth, so spectacular that both guys still get talked about those matches to this day by fans. You had Raven versus Tommy Dreamer. You had the Sandman. You had the Human Suplex Machine, Taz. Sabu. You had all these guys come up through there. Rey Mysterio and Psychosis. All these guys come up through that federation. And lest we not forget, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley. Mick Foley with probably one of the greatest promos I've ever seen, the Kane Dewey promo. If you've never seen this promo, go onto YouTube, look up Kane, C-A-N-E, Dewey, D-E-W-E-Y. That promo was so gut-wrenching and heartfelt that Mick actually stated that he cried afterwards, after he expressed all that emotion. You got to see, like I said, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the genesis, if you will, of what was going to become the beer-swelling, finger-gesturing rattlesnake that we all know and love to this day. The fuck authority figure that he became started in ECW. ECW was where stars were born and legends came to die. Terry Funk came through there, Dusty Rhodes came through there. There have been numbers of people that either got their career or ended their career there. So Jennifer, that would have to be my answer to your question, is the original ECFNW. That's all I've got for this week. Tune in next week when I come to you with episode 4 of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am JJ Williams. I'll see you then.